we're going to continue working on our next piece for our 1-inch cube. So we already did the yellow piece last time, so I'm going to click New, and I'm going to start working on my blue piece. So I'm going to go to Standard Part, Create, and then it should still be there, but if you want to double check your units, you can go to Tools, Document, Settings, Units, and make sure you're still in inches, and then that should be all set. I go back to 3D model. I'm going to start a 2D sketch. I'm going to grab this green plus button. And again, it doesn't matter what plane you draw on, but I am going to grab my XY plane. So you can see the name pops up once you hover over it. It's down here and over here. So I'm going to grab my XY plane. And now I'm working two-dimensionally. So I'm going to click the drop down under rectangle. Notice there's lots of tool options. And we're going to continue working with that 2-point center rectangle. So I'm going to grab that, click on my origin, and that then puts the center there. And I'm going to type 1 tab 1 and press enter, and that's going to give me my overall shape. I'm going to click finish, and I'm going to extrude that. And I only want to extrude it 0.25. I'm going to click OK. So now I'm working off of this 3-dimensional shape. Now before I get too far into this, I don't want to lose this if something happens to Inventor or I need to leave. So I'm going to go File, Save. And I'm going to make sure I'm in that same, I'm in my U drive, DDE, 1-inch cube folder. And then I'm going to use the same naming conventions. Block number, underscore, username, underscore, what is it? I like to shorten this a little bit. I'll actually click on that and then I can change the name, but you want to be careful. If you save over that piece, you will no longer have that yellow file, so you have to change the name. If you click on it, it'll replace that file. So I made sure to change my name, and I'm going to press Save. So now, just so as we're working on it, let's change the color of this. We're going to go to Tools, Appearance, and I'm going to look for blue. And I like this blue wall paint that tends to look nice. I'm going to open up the plus button next to Solid Bodies, select Solid 1, and then press the up arrow for that blue wall paint. So now I'm going to work with it in the color that it is. So I'm going to start, go back to 3D model. In case we haven't talked about it, there's all these different tools here, and there's different tool sets that we can use. So far we've used Tools, Sketch, 3D Model, and Annotate. So I'm going to start a new sketch on the face of that. Notice it doesn't give me the options to just work on that plane. We can get there, but for right now we're just going to manipulate the object we've already drawn. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to work from my bottom left corner first. So I'm going to grab a regular 2-point rectangle. I'm going to click on this bottom left corner. I'm making sure that it snaps to that. And I'm going to type 0.375 tab 0.25. Enter. So that way I have that rectangle there. I'm going to add the same thing on the other side. 0.375 tab 0.25. So that way I have identical rectangles drawn at the bottom of that. It's important that you're snapping from that corner and not just close to it. So I'm going to click Finish. And we're going to extrude both of these. Now, what we've been doing is adding to it. So we made shape. What we're going to do right now is we're going to change the Boolean. So we've been joining where we're adding to the shape. We're now going to cut away from this. So we're just going to leave it at cut. 0.25 is going to be our distance, so it cuts all the way through. I'm going to click OK. Notice all those extra lines disappeared because I consumed that sketch. I have no sketches that are not being used by an extrusion or another tool in 3D Model. Let's just go File, Save, because we don't want to have to do that again. And I'm going to start a sketch on the top now. So Start Sketch, and then click on the top of our object. I'm going to actually rotate it so that way I'm looking at it like this. If you look, I want to be on the top of the part. So I'll click top, and I'm going to work on it from here. So I'm going to start with my line tool, and I'm going to click on the top corner. And I want to go at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to do tab, 45, tab, and then I'm just going to click on the edge of the object just like we did for our yellow piece. And I need to close that shape. So don't do what I'm going to do. I want to show you something. Right now you can see I have this triangle here, but it's not a closed shape. If I wanted to extrude this, it's not going to actually let me select anything here because it has to be a closed perimeter for it to know what to extrude. Still don't follow along. Something else I do want to show you. If I go, okay, I need to close that, it has to be in the same sketch. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to draw the rest of that triangle. It's still not going to let me extrude that because I've now drawn those two parts. I've drawn this line and these two lines in different sketches. So they're not going to interact with one another because they're on essentially different layers. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to double click sketch 3 so I can get back into that. And now I'm going to close that shape. I'm going to do the same thing from the other side. I'm going to come here, and now if I type 45, that's not going to give me the angle that I want. So I need to add 90 to that. So tab 135, tab, and that's going to give me that 45-degree angle from the top here to the bottom. So I'm going to click on the edge, and then I'm going to close my triangle. Now I'm going to click Finish, and I'm going to extrude this shape. Oops, see, I didn't close that. So I must be missing, see, you can see when I click that, I'm missing this line here. I'm just going to close that now. Extrude. I want to extrude this and this. I'm going to cut them, and I want that to, I can either type 0.75 for 3/4, or I can say through all. And the nice part about that is if I want that to go through everything no matter what I add. I don't know what we're going to need this part for later on, so I'm just going to set it at 0.75, not 45. 0.75, so that way it's only extruding what I want it to. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to save. Your best bet is to save often. So I'm going to start another sketch on top because we need to cut out that middle part of our piece. So I'm going to start my sketch on top. I like to change the view so that way it's looking at it like this. I'm going to grab my line tool. I'm going to start at this corner. I want to go tab at a 45-degree angle, tab for 1 inch. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to do tab 135, tab 1. Now, where these lines intersect is going to be the center of our object. So then we're going to take this intersection and click on it because we want to form a line that's 45 degrees from there. So it does look like I should, or sorry, not 45 degrees, 60 degrees. So it looks like it's going to let me type 60. So I'm going to do tab, 60, tab, and I'm just going to click on the end of my object. Oop. See how it's saying, okay, there's too much there? Let's press cancel. Sometimes this happens with the inventor. Let me try one more thing. So tab, 60, tab, can I over click? See how it's saying, okay, there's problems with that? That's a glitch with Inventor. So right now my tool is active. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard, top left corner, ESC. And I'm just going to delete the dimensions, not the lines. I don't know why this happens. It didn't used to happen. It's something fun and new. So now it should let us do that no problem. Tab, 60, tab, let's do 1 inch, because it's a fine. And now it's gonna let me draw that. I'm gonna do the same thing over here, but again, it says this is 90, so I need to make sure that I'm adding to that, because this would be 30 degrees, so 90, so I need to do 120. Tab, 120, tab, 1. And now you can see I have those lines. I'm just going to close that triangle. So let's click Finish. It's okay that it's larger than what I need it to be. So I'm just going to cut that 0.25 and click OK. Now all those extra lines disappeared because I consumed that. So this is your blue piece in its entirety. So let's go ahead and click File, Save, and that's going to be my part file. Now we have a couple of options. I think in the last video we went File, Print, Send to 3D Print Service. You can do that, but another way to do the same thing is to go Environments and then go to 3D Print. So that will bring you so you can actually see what it's going to look like. We can still check our print options to make sure that it's binary, millimeters, high resolution, which it is. So then I'm just going to click STL. Notice it already has my naming convention. It's going to add that file extension to it for me. So I'm just going to press Save. And then I can exit the 3D print, and I'm back looking at my part file. Next we're going to do is create our new drawing file. So let's go File, New. We're going to grab a standard drawing, Create. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to edit our sheet size. So right click Sheet 1, Edit Sheet. We're going to change it to Custom Size in inches, 17 by 22. And remember, if I'm ever going too quickly, you can watch, you can press pause, you can rewind, so that way you get all of the steps. And I'm going to click OK. So let's click our base view. And this is the side I want to see. See how I can see these edges? If for some reason you clicked a different plane and it's showing you a different view, you want to make sure you come so that way your front view is where you want it. So I'm going to make sure it's 5:1. I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. I'm going to make sure hidden and shaded are selected. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. So there is my front view. Let's project for our top view, side view, and the isometric view. Right click, press Create, and now I'm going to add in my dimensions. So I'm going to start, let's go to Annotate, Dimension. I'm going to start on my right hand side. So I'm going to grab here, bring this up, so I know that my overall width is 0.25. And I'm going to start at the bottom. I like to do the bottom first because those are my smaller dimensions, and I can just work up from here. So I'm still dimensioning. I'm going to go to the next hidden line. Okay. And overall. And I'm always going to put these in between the views because they correlate with one another. This hidden line is telling me about this cutout. So that should be everything I need in my side view. So let's come over to my front view. I'm going to dimension this edge. Okay. I'm going to dimension down here. Remember, we never typed 0.38, so let's make that a 3 unit. I'm going to do the other one over here as well. So I don't want to pull this dimension line through my part, which is why we're going to put them down below, even though it still correlates to my front view, just for the simplicity of the drawing. So let's change that unit to 3. Now, if you place your dimension, let's go back. If you place your dimension and forget to change that unit, you can just double click and then change how many places the decimal place goes out to. I'll click OK. I'm going to keep dimensioning. That one looked a little too close. So right now I'm trying to scooch this, but because my dimension tool is active, it just opens my settings. So I'm going to press escape to allow me to grab that, and I'm just going to move that out a little bit so it's consistent. Dimension. And let's do our overall. Okay. And then we're going to come up to our top view. We're going to grab our angle. Remember, I'm looking for that angle symbol. I'm going to bring that as a 45. And I want to grab this, because I know I need that to be a 60-degree angle. I can dimension in my width. And let's do this opening as well, because we know that from here to the middle is that dimension. So that'll tell us how far from the center we came over, and then we sent it at that 30-degree angle. Let's press save. File, save. Now it already named it, and it's putting in the appropriate extension so that's the right type. And press save. Now it's saying, okay, these have been updated. Do you want to update it? And I'm going to say yes to all, and then press OK. Sometimes Inventor takes a minute to think. So now I can zoom out, and here is, my entire drawing. So I'm going to go File. You can go Print and then click Print and then select a Microsoft PDF. I prefer to go File, Print, Export to PDF. And I'm just going to save that in that same spot. So now when I come over to my File Explorer, and I go into my U drive, and someone was showing me theirs didn't show over here. This is probably because I use it often, and you had to click this PC and then go to your U drive. It's the one with your username. So your user drive, DDE, 1-inch cube, and now you can see I have these 4 new files for my 1-inch cube that I'm going to attach to the Google Classroom. If you don't remember how to attach them, always make sure you can go back to that yellow piece assignment, and that has a video on how to attach to the Google Classroom. So I'm always going to, I can close right out of Inventor. If it doesn't ask me to save, it means that everything was saved. So be sure to attach your files and submit the assignment. Be sure to ask your teacher if you have any questions. Have a great day.